To learn about the negative conclusions on the state of the Earth was incredibly emotionally draining.
And the scale of change that's necessary is extreme.
So I'm really interested in the geography and environmental studies major here at UCLA because I think what I'm most interested in is climate science and looking at how that impacts certain communities and how certain communities haven't really had a seat at the table.
So our research is trying to make sure we understand the impact and inform good policies so that those disadvantaged communities will be benefited.
Communities like mine are disproportionately affected by environmental justice issues. And growing up, I had normalized these issues. I had normalized lack of access to green spaces, my friends being displaced by freeways, and within my major, I learned how our communities disproportionately bear the burden of such sources of contamination. I was also co-facilitator for the Environmental Justice Working Group, which is a space that we created to talk about environmental justice issues and also be a space where students can collaborate on research projects relating to lead contamination.
And in particular, in the Environmental Justice Working Group, there's a subgroup, the Better Watts Initiative Working Group. And with that, I've been able to assist some current graduate students with research on lead remediation in the Watts community.
It's sometimes difficult to communicate to the public, including policymakers, that some of the questions that we're dealing is not someone else's question. It's not the future generation's question. It's our question. It's our problem.
Sure, everyone knows that, there's anthropogenic climate change, there's habitat destruction, but really we're dealing with complex adaptive systems, and these complex adaptive systems involve, human decisions, human economics, and biodiversity, and everything's linked. If you want to solve these problems, you have to recognize the magnitude of the crisis that we're in. This is a failure of education.
What I'm learning is it's not just to learn, but also hopefully I can be a part of the change and a part of facilitating and implementing those solutions that I want to see.
I would say most of my life is, shouting to avoid. I feel as though whatever I'm doing is not really making a big effect.
EPA used to have a strong climate program. And we responded and submitted proposals, and then we heard the whole program was discontinued a couple of years ago for no reasons, right? And that's really a hard feeling. The past 4 years, we know there's so many setbacks at the federal levels, basically opt out from Paris Agreement, and then they set back many of the environmental regulations.
Funding is oftentimes allocated towards natural gas and towards oil and petroleum through subsidies. And so something I think that could be really good to come out of this administration would maybe removing those subsidies.
Government has a role in solving these problems, but these problems are collective action problems. We have to work together to solve them.
The research that we've been working on is demonstrated really clearly it takes a global effort.
But all global solutions start locally.
I think there is hope in numbers, which is why I really do advocate for faculty from lower socioeconomic backgrounds to be hired.
And I also would like to be able to increase access to BIPOC communities and learning more about this work, and also being able to craft policies that actually work for everybody and are able to build a green, sustainable economy.
The more we can help get the message across, and the people will motivated to deal with their own community, but at the same time is willing to collaborate across different boundaries.
I greener South Los Angeles. I envision our communities being the center of innovation and being a model.
I want to go down fighting, and I'm fighting through education, and I'm fighting through research, and I'm fighting through small victories. But we can't continue living the sorts of energy intensive, carbon producing, habitat destructing, pollution inducing lives that we've lived.